Hey guys, welcome back to Make Code. Today we are going to learn about variable. First simple question. What is variable? Variable is an object that is used to store data. It consists of three major parts: data type, identifier, and value. The examples of variables can be everything, including your name. So, for instance, variables about your family name could be illustrated like this. Data type is text because your surname is definitely made from combination of letters, or we call it string in programming. The identifier is surname, and the value is your real surname. Let's say Brown. To register this variable into your program, you need to firstly write a declaration process. The format of declaring a variable is like this: data type first and is followed by identifier. Assigning the value is optional in the declaration process. So what you will write is gonna be string surname is equal to Brown. Don't forget to put semicolon. Every line of comment you write in C# should be ended by semicolon. You will use this variable's identifier to retrieve its value. Let's show it to screen by writing surname inside the console.writeLine comment, then compile. You can use F5 as a shortcut. Now, we have called a variable. During declaration process, you can also assign the value later. But I would suggest to always assign a value to every variable you create to avoid runtime error or program crash, which is an error that occurs during program execution. If you do not know the value yet, you can just assign a blank quote instead. Every time you assign variable with new value, the old one will be replaced. Now, how about the other data types? There are many data types that are built in C# language. You can check them on this website. I will also put the link in the description. But I will just do a quick review of some most commonly used data types. First, as you have known, is string to store text. Secondly, int stands for integer, is obviously to store integers. Then double is for decimal. Next, char is to store one character only. It is usually used to store one-digit data, such as student's grade. And lastly, bool stands for boolean, to store true or false. This is convenient to be used for storing yes or no data, like do you have a middle name or not? If you do, store its value as true and false otherwise. Now, about the identifier, there are two major rules in naming a variable. First, identifier can only consist of letter, number, and underscore. It cannot be started with number. Therefore, identifier can only be started with letter or underscore. Secondly, naming standard is using camel notation, which means the name is always started with lowercase, but the first letter of following words will always be started with uppercase. See this example. The letter T in this example is lowercase. However, the I, C, and N is in uppercase. Alright, so now let's try to display each of data types. Let's make a variable of integer first. My age, for example. For int and float, you can do a basic mathematical expression such as adding, subtracting, multiplying, and also dividing. You can also assign this variable into itself like this. Basically, it is just to assign a dynamic value based on the current value of my age. So because my age is currently 20, it is become 20, added by 1. The shortcut is like this. This also applies to subtracting, multiplying, and dividing as well. Another shortcut to increment it with exactly 1 can be written like this, while to deduct it with 1 is like this. However, when you try to divide 5 by 2, the result is not 2.5, but just 2 instead, because integers cannot hold decimal. So, to make the result 2.5, you have to use double, and correct the operands by putting decimal. Now, try to use char. Let's say my char is equal to C. Remember, when you write a text or string, you use double quote. However, when you write a char, you have to use single quote because in programming, even text that contain a single letter is different from char. This is because char represents an ASCII code. If you do not know about ASCII code, try to browse it from website. It is basically a character retrieved from a combination of codes. But yeah, just leave it because it is not used that frequent. Yep, nice. Now, about the bool, you can use it to assign with either true or false. We don't usually use it to show onto screen, but it's usually used for logical expression in if-else statements that we are going to learn later. But yeah, it still can be shown to screen. You can give a plus sign to link text with variables, or variables with another variables. Alright guys, you just learned about variable. It is better if you do more experiments with variables first to get yourself used to it, since this is one of the major components in programming. And most importantly, you will be dealing with this a lot in upcoming videos. So, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you in the next video.